right, we got a trade video to shoot. Who's ready to shoot a trade video? Okay, let me just read the script here. The Toronto Maple Leafs acquire Ilya Lyubushkin. No, guys, we already read this one. They got him back. What do you mean they got him back? They got it, like, this year? In 2024? They got him in 2024. All right. The Toronto Maple Leafs have acquired Ilya Lyubushkin. Again! This time in a three-way deal. They got him from the Anaheim Ducks, who sent him to the Carolina Hurricanes, retained 50% of his salary, and then sent him to the Leafs. But it's even more complicated than that. Let's get into the nitty-gritty details of this trade because it's a weird one. But first, the internet is scary! But it doesn't have to be because there's NordVPN. You bored of the Canadian or the US streaming services? You want to see what they got in the UK? Using NordVPN, you can do just that. You got a favorite show in Japan? What are you going to do? Fly all the way to Japan now? I mean, you could, but you don't have to. With over 5,000 server options, no show is out of reach. Grab your exclusive NordVPN deal by going to nordvpn.com/dangle. You get a huge discount on your NordVPN plan, plus an additional 4 months free. It's completely risk-free with NordVPN's 30-day money-back guarantee. We all love to binge watch your favorite shows, but you can't forget about security. NordVPN keeps your information encrypted. You gotta encrypt that stuff. Intrusive websites, malware. NordVPN says no with threat protection. Once again, it's an exclusive offer, nordvpn.com/dangle. So, here's how this all came to be. As Elliot Friedman tweeted, Ilya Lyubushkin was pulled from the Anaheim Ducks lineup tonight, and the Leafs and Ducks had been talking for some time. Again, as Elliot points out, the Leafs acquired Lyubushkin in 2022. That was just 2 years ago, and it was a different GM. That was Kyle Dubas. Says he played 31 games for them? I do not remember it being that many. What was that trade? Oh, dude, my soul. The Leafs traded Nick Ritchie and a 2025 second-round pick for Ilya Lyubushkin and Ryan Dzingel. Dzingel never played a game for the Leafs. The Leafs got Lyubushkin 2 years ago for a draft pick that hasn't even been used yet, and they just got him again? Well, they kind of had to. The Leafs have won 8 of their last 9 games. Things are going great in that regard, but their team situation is kind of messed up right now. Liljegren was already hurt. We can probably educatedly guess that several D-men on the back end are banged up. Mark Giordano slammed his head, and Sheldon Keefe said it himself after the game against the Coyotes that he has a head injury. Who knows how long he's going to be out, and they're not going to know. In terms of games played, this upcoming week is going to be one of the busiest on the Leafs schedule all year, and then it's the trade deadline on Friday. The Leafs want to carry 3 goalies. Someone's probably going to have to go on waivers. Something had to give. They needed someone. Before Giordano got hurt, they had 6 left-handed D playing, and when one of them got hurt, they replaced him with an $11 million forward. And the forward did well there, but the offense struggled a little, and I think the problem is they lost an $11 million forward! So the Leafs made this deal, and it's I haven't seen anyone out there who's like, yeah, this price is good. Let me just tell you what it is. Frank Saravalli said, trade call pending per sources. Leafs get Ilya Lyubushkin, 75% retained. The Ducks get a 3rd-round pick, and the Carolina Hurricanes, who retained half of Lyubushkin's salary, got a 6th-round pick. Chris Johnston of STPN and the CJ Show had a couple really important little caveats here. The Leafs are acquiring Ilya Lyubushkin at a cap hit of $687,500 with double retention, less than the league minimum salary. That leaves plenty of room for further moves before the March 8 trade deadline. Okay, so listen, I think Ilya Lyubushkin is probably going to play games with Morgan Rielly. Like, I think there's a real good chance of that, or at very least shifts. Sheldon Keefe and his coaching staff can play around with it. But this tweet right here from Chris Johnston makes me feel a whole lot better, because if you thought that Ilya Lyubushkin was going to be this year's Luke Schenn, like, oh, here's a guy, and we're going to staple him to Morgan Rielly now. It doesn't sound like that's what's going to happen. You don't have to like the price, but the Leafs needed depth. They need it bad, especially guys who shoot right. I think this is going to be unpopular, but I'm going to say it anyway. Playoff hockey. We've all seen it, right? We've all seen, like, depth defensemen in the playoffs. And I'm just going to say, a lot of them play a lot more like Ilya Lyubushkin than Connor Timmins. Timmins can put up points. He can. Ilya Lyubushkin can't. But he likes hitting dudes, and that's what the playoffs are all about. Another important thing from Chris Johnston, the Leafs got another guy in this trade. The Leafs are also receiving the rights to Kirill Slepets to complete the double retention deal on Ilya Lyubushkin. So this is sort of interesting. Slepets is a former 5th-round pick from 2019. He's 24 years old. He was a draft pick of the Carolina Hurricanes. what a three-way deal is technically 2 trades. What the Hurricanes are doing here is smart. They're like, okay, we'll help facilitate this trade. You will compensate us a draft pick and we'll retain salary. It's smart for that reason. Now, there could be another reason. The Carolina Hurricanes are an extremely analytically inclined team, and Ilya Lyubushkin's analytics suck. But maybe the Hurricanes are like, yeah, you can absolutely pay us in order for you, another team in the Eastern Conference, to get worse. But instead of future considerations, the Leafs acquire an actual human person in Kirill Slepets, or rather his rights. Maybe they have actual interest in the guy, I'm not sure. He plays for Amur Khabarovsk in the KHL. 2 very fun things about Amur Khabarovsk. Number 1, their top scorer is former Leaf draft pick, and actually former Carolina Hurricane, Igor Korshkov. And number 2, there is a player on Amur Khabarovsk who is a teammate of Kirill Slepets named Vyacheslav Gretzky. That's true. Look it up. It's true. He spells Gretzky with an S, but his name is Vyacheslav Gretzky. Okay, this is happening on the fly. Let me show you the graphic the Leafs just put up. Trade. We've acquired defenseman Ilya Lyubushkin and the rights to unsigned draft choice Kirill Slepets in a 3-team trade with the Anaheim Ducks and Carolina Hurricanes. They have a picture of Ilya Lyubushkin. He's on the Ducks in the picture. You have a photo of him on your team from 2 years ago. Just use that. Give him the same number and everything. It's number 46. No one's going to take it. Or wait a sec. Let me check. Oh, someone did take it. Alex Steeves, who played 1 game for the Leafs this year, wears 46. He wore 46. Does Lyubushkin get it back, and does he have to pay Steeves for it? I think he does. Look, Ilya Lyubushkin is someone who the organization is familiar with, the coaching staff is familiar with, the team is familiar with. Right here, the Leafs are going with the devil they know. It sounds like they're not done going out and getting defensemen, and I should hope so, going out and getting Ilya Lyubushkin and then going, all right, call it a day. Yeah, I think Leaf fans would be rightly pissed off about that. Then there's also this. I got a huge kick out of it. Dom Luszczyszyn, and I know Dom, but I'm giving it to him. He said, a first-round pick for an actual top 4 defenseman? No. A third-round pick for one of the worst defensemen in the league? Yeah! To which Alex Browncombe posted a tweet of Dom's from this summer. Simone Benoit, the newest Leaf, or hopefully Marley, has the league's least impressive player card. Well. Like, look, this right here from Evolving Wild, when you can acquire this kind of player, you got to do it. This is Ilya Lyubushkin and his season so far, and it is miserable. It's a bunch of red pointing down. You don't want red pointing down. But dude, when we were talking about the Leafs getting Simone Benoit this summer, that dude's numbers, from the Ducks by the way, sucked! What did we talk about? What have we already talked about? Numbers from the Ducks don't count. They don't count. They stink a whole big bunch. Don't count. I'm just saying it's possible for players to overcome those cards. We've seen Simone Benoit do it. I guess the big difference with Ilya Lyubushkin is we've already seen him not play all that great on the Leafs a couple years ago. They needed a guy. They could have gone out and gotten another guy. They got this guy. Now, capfriendly.com. Here's the Leafs draft pick situation after this. It is, it's bad, but it's not bad in the way that you think it is. The 2024 draft, it's not that bad. The Leafs have their own first-round pick. They don't have a second-round pick. They don't have their own third, but they have the New York Islanders third that they got for Pierre Engvall, and that pick is probably going to be better than the one that the Leafs just gave up to the Ducks. The Leafs have their own fourth. They have 3 fifth-rounders, their own Calgary's and Vancouver's. They don't have their own sixth, and they have 2 sevenths. 2025, oof, Maroon! They don't have a first, they don't have a second, they don't have a third, they don't have a fourth, they have 2 fifths for some reason, a sixth and a seventh. And just a little side note, they don't have a second round pick until 2027. And guess what? That situation's gonna get worse. They said it. CJ said it. He already said that the Leafs are not done acquiring defensemen for this team, or at least they don't want to be. They're probably shipping more of those draft picks out the door. But Steve, I don't want to give up more of those draft picks out the door. All right, well then prospects. Easton Cowan and Fraser Minton and Nick Robertson. Oh, you don't want to do that either. Oh, well then they'll just stay the way they are. Oh, you don't want that either. Well, you gotta pick one. You gotta pick at least one. You could trade all your picks and prospects. I suppose you could pick 2 there. But this team has been playing well, but they have a clear weakness here in terms of quality and quantity on the back end. Earlier in the season, you weren't sure to believe in this group. Now, it's easier to believe in this group. They've won 8 of 9, man. They're playing a little harder, a little more rugged. They have the greatest goal scorer in the world. Does the price suck? I'm not gonna lie, it's not great. But this move, or some sort of move, was necessary. You can hear me talking myself into it. It's a tough one, but it was one that needed to be done. And now I'm excited for the lead up to the trade deadline because there's one of the best insiders in the game saying that the Leafs are not done. And who knows, maybe Carol Slepitz is going to win the Conn Smythe. So that is it for this one. Can I go to bed now? Shot 2 videos. Can I go to bed? Thank you very much for watching. Click like if you like this video. Click subscribe if you really liked it. Tell all your friends. SDPN. We are going to be uploading trade deadline stuff all deadline day, all deadline week. I can reveal there are going to be some surprises from us next week. I think you're going to like them. They're surprises for sure. And it looks like the NHL is going to have some surprises in store for us as well. SDPN. Consider becoming an SDP VIP. It's good stuff. New episode tomorrow of SDP VIP. Ooh.